Hello, my dear friend. This is Ojas, and I'm very happy to be having Dilmi with me once more. What a pleasure to have you. Welcome, Dilmi.
Thank you for having me here, OJ. And I'm very happy to meet you again and to have a
Yes.
discussion.
We
Yeah.
had a wonderful discussion the last time. It was about Dilmi's personal journey. Enlightenment Experience was the title of the video, and it was so popular. So I got in touch with Dilmi and I said, let's do a follow-up to that because thoughts and ideas change over time. One has different experiences working with different people, and so I thought it would be great to meet with you again to do a follow-up session. So really looking forward to it, Dilmi.
Yeah, me too. Let's do it.
Great. So. Uh, Obviously, you have had your own journey. You're now a coach. You've had an awakening journey on your own. You've found some truth firsthand, and now you're helping people through their journey. So what kind of clients come to you? What kind of areas do you support people with?
Yes, OJ, mostly I could say two kind of people. One set of people are mostly on to truth seeking, like truth seekers. And the next set of people are like have tried many therapists, coaches, or psychiatrists, all these other methodologies for them to heal, but that didn't work. And then finally they just come to me and have sessions, like where they go through some emotional turmoil. And there were clients who just came to me where like she stayed in mental hospital for 2 months and then she came up, like you can imagine how hard that it is. And in the first day itself, she just gave up her antidepressants because she trusted me very much. And so these are the people come to me, OJ, and the way that I work with them is very different, like for each individual. It's more like this coaching is more like intuitive. I don't ever go with a script. I go sit there and then I listen to them and then I work with them. And that's how the coaching goes. Yeah.
Okay. And what is your approach? Can you explain some scenario, maybe some recent client and the kind of journey that you help them go through?
Yeah, so let me tell you, like, regarding people go through emotional turmoil or something like that, sometimes I work with them in order to release their emotional baggage. For example, Lord, if you take in our bodies, we have so many emotions trapped in our bodies. One time, one client shared with me, like, there was this guy ramping up with gates on him, like, and then some heavy metal on him, like he's just ramping, and then it was hilarious for me to watch that. And and she said, like, before I came for the sessions with you, I felt like this. And then once I like do the session, she felt like she just finally gave up those heavy, heavy metal things. So honestly, even though it's hilarious, I feel like there's so much emotional baggage people are carrying. For example, there's one girl who showed up, and I remember like she came and started sharing her story. And at the time, I remember when I was listening to the story, and there was a very emotional story, I realized she's telling it as if it's not, she doesn't feel anything about it, OJ. But then when I listened to it, I started having tears. And
Right.
then I was just continued to listen to her. And then I shared, okay, are you come for the next session? And then at the time she shared, like, I realized the reason why she was the reason why I'm crying is because there's a lot of emotional pain. She's not sensitive enough to feel that pain within herself. She has been
Right.
repressing that. But yet I am sensitive enough to feel that and I start crying. And then she said, oh, I don't want to cry about it. I'm fine and all that. I said, okay, fine, come to the next session. And then the next session, it went up to, I believe, 2 hours long. And then from beginning to end, she was crying, like screaming, like so much crying, you know. So so that is a one as like a scenario that I could take, like what I realized from these incidents, how much it's like people are living like as like it's like volcanoes, you know.
Right. Yeah.
It just need to like walk somewhere and then it's just burst up.
Gushing
It's
out.
very important. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's very important we are sensitive and we just connect with them because we are so disconnected with ourselves.
Yeah.
OG. That's why these diseases, mental diseases and all that is because we are so disconnected with ourselves. And
Yeah.
that's where the issue is, and it's very important we connect with ourselves and we connect with our truth. We connect with our emotions and our needs, not repress anything, even your desires. Sometimes I tell that, like just because now you are in a spiritual path now, okay, let me repress. No, why? The repression doesn't work,
Right.
you know, and yeah, that's a scenario that I could take place.
Right, right. Yeah, thanks for that. So what I'm hearing is that you're helping your clients not only as being a spiritual mentor, but also helping them becoming more authentic individuals, this play of form, this personality, and also helping them with the emotional release. And there is so much of it's not encouraged in society to show up as ourselves, to be able to even admit our emotions to ourselves, the trauma that we have. So you're helping them release that in a safe way.
Yes, 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 I do that. And I feel like there's a conspiracy like where you cannot be who you are in the society. If you be who you are, like you are being like, hammered and all, like, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? Why you're not this way? Why you should supposed to be that way? And there's a lot
Yeah,
of turmoil,
yeah.
a lot of turmoil out there, and they don't have anyone to even speak to. And there's so much repression to a level which is unbelievable.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
yeah,
So, this authenticity is a topic that's very close to me. So I want to ask you, if we were to be more authentic beings, then what are some of the things that we might do differently in our lives?
yeah. They would not lie to themselves, OJ. I see, like, even to themselves. Forget about like a person who is going through a spiritual journey. I say the number one quality you're supposed to have is being honest. You know, like forget about being honest with other people. At least be honest with yourself. you know do what you truly feel like. Don't lie to yourself. It's like you go to a job and you hate that job, but you just go regardless and telling yourself lies because of the paycheck or any other reason. I'm sure there'll be responsibilities that you lie to yourself.
Yeah,
And then the next thing, and then you're with the partner and you have like you're not happy with the partner, but you just tell yourself like so many lies and you stay with it because you don't like to make the move because it's uncomfortable, because it's conflict. We avoid conflicts,
yeah,
So what I say is just be more authentic.
yeah,
I know it's not easy, to make this move is not easy. Let me tell you that. I'm not telling any of these things are easy. But you got to be honest with yourself. Just at least don't lie. Forget about other people. When I say being honest, at least please be honest with yourself and do not lie.
mm,
I can see so many lies, so many. It's like lies invested, 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 invested. Now you're like living in a completely different bubble,
mm,
And then when the client comes to me, I just pinch this bubble, and then one at a time, she's falling down into the reality, and it's not easy.
yeah,
Sometimes it's brutal, sometimes it's a lot of crime, you know,
yeah,
but that's the process, you know.
yeah. And it's very
Yeah,
necessary, I think, a lot in society. uh, Sometimes it seems like the clients that you may have, or the people that actually inquire into the truth about themselves, about the world, it might seem like there's something wrong with us, but in reality, like the whole society is just sleepwalking and just following what seems to be the norm, the safe thing to do, supposedly the right thing to do. But who is happy, right? Like who's able to actually live with joy, to wake up feeling joyful and to own their life, right? So these people that are coming to you, these people that actually are inquiring into their lives deeply, I feel they are the ones who are living the most authentically.
very much, very much, Yeah. And at the same time, I disturb their sleep from the very beginning to the end.
Right.
Every day I send a reminder to disturb their sleep. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about the dream analogy. That's also the title of your book, Life is a Dream. So can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, OJ, actually, talking about life is a dream, I literally means life is a dream. I'm someone who is like share very directly because I like people tell me things that way, even when I listen to a spiritual teacher. And in reality, what you see, what you hear, what you feel, what you smell, and what you taste, and what you think, you know, all these are complete a dream, you know, which is created by your own mind. And then this mind is creating this moment to moment.
Mm,
And we get caught up with the mind. We get caught moment to moment because it's just playing it very nicely.
mm,
And mind is the most sophisticated thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. I've never seen something more sophisticated because the way they deceive ourselves, the way it deceives us is just mind blowing,
mm,
just out of this world. So subtle, but
mm,
just doing a very, very, very nice way.
mm,
And just like in the movie Matrix, here this whole matrix is being created by our mind,
mm,
you know, and it is being created moment to moment. And then the nicest way the mind keeps this illusion alive is through our five senses,
mm,
you know, and that keeps the whole thing very, very alive. And yeah, so when I say life is a dream, I literally mean life is a dream. It's just like a dream that you have in the night, even in the night, like, OJ, if you see really, you're sleeping in the night, your eyes are closed. But then how do you see the whole thing?
mm,
It is through your mind, you know. And just like here, you see a gap between me and you and then the laptop and that. And just like that, if you go back to a dream that you had the space between the things in the objects.
mm,
There was a gap between the other person and you. There was a tree or whatever the background, there was a gap. Who created that? Who created that gap? That is the mind, you know. And and then these figures are in the night, right? Like when you're sleeping in the night, like the figure shows up and there's a background and all these things happening. Who created all that?
mm,
All the figures are coming again back from the mind, you know. So just like that. So just like in this dream, in the night dream, all the five senses are working. When you eat a cookie, you feel the taste, right? I mean, we enjoy even in a dream. Sometimes we don't even want to wake up because we are so caught up with the dream,
yes.
right? In the
Yeah.
night. Because all the five senses are working just like here.
Mm,
And when you are having the dream in the night, OJ, at that time you feel it real until you wake up in the morning. And what
mm,
I'm saying is just like that, you know,
mm,
until you wake up, even from this, you will feel this whole thing is so real because this whole thing is anyway so perfectly created. There's no any loophole. The loophole that I have found is the dream, and that's why I'm hammering on that. Because that really helped me in my journey.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there comes a point when one realizes the same thing happening over and over again and says that there is no way to win in this dream. There is either suffering or there is suffering one way or another. And then you just get sick of living this dream over and over again, and then you want to wake up from it. And I guess that's what awakening is.
So
Yeah.
what you shared, like going again and again and again, I want to take one example that I heard from a spiritual teacher, and I found that very profound because that really hit me. And it says in that book, I believe when I was reading, he says he could see the past life, and he took like 14 Like, it doesn't matter whether it's the truth or like, it doesn't matter. Just like listen to it. Doesn't matter really whether what he said is truth or false, whether he can really see the past lives, you know. But for some reason that really hit me, you know, like he said that he could see his past lives, you
Mm,
know, and then all these like some like let's say 14 past lives.
mm,
And when he saw that, like he could see each of the lives, you know. And when he saw that, like let's say past life 1, 2, 3, like the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 is very identical. You born, and then you go to school, you go to a university and get the degree, and you get married and recreate and all that. And when you see that happening around so many lives,
mm.
you know, I mean, he got really there. He said like there's nothing to even talk about it. Once he see that, it drops on its own. You
Right.
know, the reason why we are here is, I always tell that, because we have an entertainment in this dream for some reason, and that's
Yeah.
why we are here.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you realize? Because we're so caught up in living this dream and trying to optimize this dream, trying to make it better and better. How do we actually start to realize, is there a point that comes, or is there a practice, or is there a process that can actually help you start to wake up from it, or help you at least realize that you're in a dream?
So it is your true nature, you know. It is there moment to moment with you, very, very, very closely. The miracle is that we're missing it every day.
Yeah.
And so if you like if you can stay connected with your senses more, you know, when I say senses, like when you see something, just see it. You know, sometimes when I walk in the rooftop, I see colors in the clouds that I've never seen. You know, connect with what you see, connect with what you hear,
Mm,
connect with what you smell. You know, smell your food and eat.
mm,
And eat like as if you have a divinely created food and this is the last meal that you're gonna have. So just absorbed in it and like be there with your senses. You know, when you're connected to your senses, OJ, you are living in this moment.
mm,
But in reality, we are so caught up here, like living up here without hopes, you know. So if you could come down and just stay connected to your body, we are so disconnected even with our body, let me tell you that. And that's why we just put out so much garbage into the system, you
mm,
know, so much food into the system, which we don't even need.
mm,
And so it's very like one thing that as a practice that I could simple practice, you know, what you can simply do is just connect with your senses, come down from your thoughts. You're not missing anything because you come down from, because we are so like, we take this whole thinking is so important as well as so intelligent nonsense.
mm.
It's not, you know, it's the past repeating itself,
Yeah.
you know. And you will, like, if you take any inventor, like even the person who just create a poem or some music, they're not coming from the thinking,
Mm.
you know. That's coming from a no mind state, mostly. We are glimpses to that state.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not necessary to think, as people often imagine, that it's necessary to use your mind in order to create things. Real creation is coming from a no mind. It is the natural manifestation of this being, of this body mind, not a individual separate mind, right?
Yeah, Oji, but at the same time, we like, I'm not telling completely you just take out the mind and you're not using it. No, we cannot do that, you know. We definitely need the mind in order to, when it comes to practical scenario, we always need to, I mean, if you go to your job, you got to use your mind, you know. This is not to just discard your mind, but we are using way too much,
Right.
you know. It's like, it's like let's say you're not using your teeth, you're not just biting when you're right? But
Mm.
here, it's like the mind is like, even when you're not required, mind is working, mind is in function, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Mind is a very, very amazing tool, but use it when you need, required it, not it in the, and overdo it. And
Mm.
that's where the problem comes.
Mm. And the way you're suggesting is to tune into the body, is to tune into the actual act, which will bring you in the present moment, which will help you be more mindful.
Yeah, stay connected with your senses more. And when you're in your senses, you are in this moment.
Mm.
Because the nature is giving you moment to moment
Mm.
a place where you can just flip this and you see it.
Mm.
But you're so busy. You're so busy. You can't see it.
Yeah. And that reminds me of the knowledge trap that you were talking about knowing too much or having too many ideas. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. Yeah, like OJ, so when I walk in this path, like I realize the knowledge is what was coming as a barrier for me to move more and more. Because if you really see your mind, it's like a tape recorder. Whatever you have known, whatever your knowledge is been recorded in this.
Mm.
Whenever you are just moving towards not knowing, and then the mind comes and says, like this, but like, look here, like this is how it goes, and that and all that.
Yeah.
And now you need to go beyond the mind, and it's not easy,
Mm.
you know. It's not easy.
Mm.
Like for example, like I remember like I had a accounting mindset, which is because I was being trained to learn, like trained with accounting because I learned accounting because I did the management. And then like whenever I like try to invest in something and then it comes between, and you got to go beyond your mind,
Mm.
you know. You got to go beyond the mind because it's not easy because your mind comes and say, no, look here, like now I'm trying to help you, like this is what I know, and then that like you got to cut cost and this and that, and then here we go. And even I just took an example, like even those so-called those patterns, I had to go beyond. I had to go beyond. But we just get so caught up because it just act as the mind trying to help you. And then the best part is, OJ, when we are going in this path, mind starts wearing a spiritual dress.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I can relate to that.
And you're caught again.
Yeah.
You know?
There is I believe the mind is always in a game of trying to improve, trying to become better than itself, better than other people, this kind of race for superiority. So then one enters the spiritual superiority thing, like, okay, I'm more advanced than you. I have
Oh,
done
yes.
years of contemplation, right? And
Same, same, same in a different,
oh
yeah,
yes, oh yes,
yeah. And now it's the same game, but in a different style.
right.
Yeah.
And that is the trap of knowledge that you're talking about. So
Yeah. So like I just took one example because I was so caught up with this whole mindset and I had to go beyond even that. And even that, like talking about the knowledge, like OJ, like for example, like I grew up in Sri Lanka, so I born in a Buddhist background.
mm,
So I had a picture and a frame that how a realized person looks like.
mm,
And then when I was going and trusting teachers, some of the teachers I listened to was like prisoned, or some of the teachers were like having sexual scandals and things
yeah,
like that. Yet, I was just trusted. I mean, because the mind comes and say, look, like he's prisoned, he has sexual scandals, and he's a womanizer, whatever the things that it's, and then the mind just comes and try to like justify. But then, like, I just went with the how I feel. you know I did what he says and that worked. And then I like, now do you see, now the mind comes back again with the knowledge and then start telling, no, look, in the scriptures it says this is how the realized person looks like. They like these are the points and this and that. And we quote.
yeah. I can totally
So
understand.
more we go deeper, your mind comes. Your
Mm,
mind comes.
mm.
And then even with the spiritual dress, it comes. And now it says, look, I'm trying to support you with spirituality. Because the thing is, OJ, the mind is the one which keeps this illusion alive.
Mm.
I recently did a video in Sinhala, in the local language, saying that you go and ask, it's like you are going and asking from the thief's mother, who is the thief?
Right, right. Trying to escape the mind through the mind.
Yeah. So everything you go and ask that which is the wrong place to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ultimately it's a trap of desire, right? You desire more knowledge, being better, having more than you previously had. And I think at such a time the only thing that can save a being is grace, a divine grace. And I feel it comes in the form of a yearning, a sincere yearning for truth. And that is a desire which is a pure desire, which is not a desire which is to acquire something, but actually to go beyond wanting and desiring. And
Yeah. And plus, the ego is very much dissatisfied with what you're getting out of an awakening.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
there is this whole play going on, inside you. There is the mind, there are all these stories. There's this whole dream that is so believable. We identify with being the person, being the mind. And there is something inside us, a fire, a yearning, which is taking us closer to the truth. So what
Yes.
can help a sincere seeker at this time to be able to tune into their true selves, to be able to go closer towards it, to be able to tune out of the mind?
Yes. So what I would suggest is forget about the absolute truth. At least come to your own reality.
Mm,
Come to the relative truth. Become more honest and
mm,
don't lie to yourself. And as I previously mentioned, this I see so much.
mm,
People are lying to themselves again and again and again and again,
mm,
telling various lies and just doing the same thing again and again, and so miserably like doing the same thing.
mm.
Just be honest. Be honest, at least with yourself. You know, yeah,
So following your truth, tuning into what is true for you, what is real for you, can actually
yes,
guide you towards the ultimate truth or the truth of
for
your being.
sure, for sure. Yeah,
Wonderful. I think that's going to help a lot of the viewers over here. Uh, this has been another amazing session. So much of richness in what you speak, but more so, I feel the presence that you bring, the space from which you are speaking, it's not from the mind, I feel. And it's also more than the words that somebody says. One can catch on to the energy of a pure being, and that itself can inspire one. And so to wrap up, I want to ask you, what else would you advise a sincere spiritual seeker? Should they be looking for a teacher? Should they be looking to do a certain kind of practice, like meditate for a certain amount of time? Should they be, how can one be more authentic? Like, do you need to do journaling? Uh, can you leave the viewers with something that will help them practically on their journey?
to be very honest, OJ, this can happen at any point. You know, Sometimes I tell people to watch a movie.
Mm,
Then some like because people do not believe in effortless
yeah.
things. People are so caught up who are very much in their mind are
Mm,
very much effort and effort and effort and effort.
mm,
And they comes with the same mindset to here, and
mhm,
they don't believe in effortless.
mhm,
You know, I would say that's why I even previously mentioned
mhm.
the fact that you are missing it is the miracle. That could happen at any time, even through a movie. Like yesterday, I posted in my Sinhala channel, watch the movie Total Recall 2012, and then someone could be like, yeah, is that the practice? That's the practice, Honestly, if you watch that consciously, that movie is enough for you to wake up. It's all my teachings are right there,
Can you
right
can
there
you
in the
repeat the
movie.
name of the movie?
Total Recall 2012.
Okay, perfect. I'm also gonna link it in the description of the video. And that was supposed to be the last question, but I want to ask you one more. You mentioned about being effortless, right? And I can totally
Yes.
relate to that. And it's so much it's it's simpler and yet it's harder to practice to be effortless than to actually put effort, one feels so long as one is sincere and is doing some practice and is putting some effort, hopefully you're doing the right thing, you're moving in the right direction. But I think it takes a lot of maturity of the being to actually drop all effort and to be effortless. And it's almost an ironical question to ask how to be effortless, because how to already implies some technique or some work or some doing. But how can one move towards effortlessness?
Like, be there, stay connected to yourself, and then you will know what to do.
Hmm. Hmm.
You would simply know what to do. Let me tell you why I'm saying that is, in my journey, when I was resting, I got this book it's like I need to read this book, for no reason. And then I couldn't really download that book to my laptop or my phone. And I couldn't really get that book onto me. And then what I did was one of my friend came with that, and I got pictures of that book from my phone. He bought it, and then I just had to take pictures because that was so important to me. And that's how I read it. And at that time, that's exactly what I supposed to do. The reason why I knew that because I was connected. You are your own teacher, you
Yeah.
know.
Hmm.
When you are connected,
Hmm.
you know what you need to do.
Hmm.
You don't need anyone. What I do with my clients is if you ask simply,
Hmm.
I make them connected to themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I talk their higher self for some time. And at the end, what I do is I connect them to themselves and I just move out. I just back off.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful right there. And that's a lot of my work as well, helping people connect with themselves, because ultimately any other teacher or person, which is another self, another you, can only point you towards yourself, but it's closer than
It's your journey.
you think, right? Yeah, it's right here,
It's your
and
journey.
all we need to do is just tune into the self.
Yes.
Okay, well, it's been lovely having you, Dilmi. Thank you so much for speaking from the moment. I think you shared a lot, which is going to help a lot of our viewers. And I hope that this has been as helpful to the viewers as the previous one has been. Let's see what people have to say in the comments, and maybe they're going to ask you to come again. It's been a pleasure working with you, Dilmi.
Sure. Thank you for having me, OJ.
And thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next video.